So I'm kind of sort of cheating because I've already reviewed the Vices before on this channel. However, I have different opinions on it, and I also don't even really quite remember what all I said in the first video. And, maybe I have a different opinion on this double album after listening to them from like beginning to end. Being able to compare them better, I think, is a lot more fun. And I just want to review both of them as a whole instead of just reviewing Solace. This is the new Bryson Tiller project. Bryson, if you're a fan of this channel, you'll probably know, because I know for a fact I've talked about how much I like Trap Soul before. I think I gave it its own video. If I didn't, that might be something I do in the future. I love Solace, or not Solace, I love Bryson Tiller. I love Trap Soul. I will probably get Trap Soul tattooed on me somewhere when I'm older. It is one of my favorite albums ever. Bryson is probably a top 10 artist for me. I love Bryson Tiller, which, gave me excitement whenever his career kind of returned after kind of not really being active in the music scene for a while with the Bryson Tiller self-titled. And I do remember liking that album pretty good. I don't remember the ranking of it that I gave it, which, by the way, one of these days after I get a little closer to being done with album review catch-ups, I really want to go back and re-rank a lot of my album reviews because I've probably been way too generous before. However, that's a different video for a different day. I did like that project, but I don't remember what rating I gave it. I would probably go down a little bit based off of it because I didn't return to it near as much as I thought I would. Still some bangers though. Calypso, one of Bryson's best best songs. Solace and the Vices, I do think both of these are an upgrade, but I'm going to get more into each of their specificities. I'm going to start with Solace. It's very strange because I don't know if it's the same on Apple Music, but on Spotify, whenever he dropped the Vices, it was the second disc instead of the first one. So he dropped the second half of the double album first instead of the first half of it. Solace is the more melodic Bryson Tiller, and the Vices is the more rappy side, obviously. I do prefer disc 1 over disc 2. Which is actually kind of against my notes a little bit because I actually just recently kind of gained this opinion. I do think Solace has the edge. Autumn Drive B is... Wait a second. Oh, yep. I don't know why I said Autumn Drive B in my notes. Autumn Drive is one of my favorite Bryson songs in quite a while, at least slower-wise. I love the... where's it at? The Sick interlude. Both the interludes on both these albums are really good, by the way, just so y'all know. This is kind of a more return to form, in my opinion, for Bryson. It's not quite at his peak, but I do think this is return to form. You have a lot of good flows. You have a lot of great melodies here. You have all that good stuff. I do think that Bryson has never lost his ability to make good melodies. I do think it is kind of... Bryson has definitely took a step down, I do think, and not a big one. It's just marginally... He's just not kind of at the same... I don't know, it just feels different. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel as, I guess, powerful. I almost want to say it almost feels like he doesn't mean it as much. However, I'm not saying any of that as they are like saying that they're really bad problems, because they're not. There's still so much to like here. I Need Her is another standout. So is Crocodile Tears. That's a really good little 3-track run here. Genuine's pretty good, little 4-track run. Strife and No Contest are also a pretty good start to the project. Harley's outro, is this even I don't remember if this is even yeah, it's only 52 seconds. It's not even a song, I don't think, so I'm not really counting that. But it is nice. It is a nice little outro. It's very well, I like that it's only 12 songs. Both the discs are pretty short. I think the second one's only 12 too, yeah. They're both pretty short, and, to be honest, I think I prefer that. I do think Bryson is one of those artists that I think can really well pull off having no features, because he's usually able to do enough with his voice and enough with his delivery, enough with his flows and melodies, and kind of switch them up enough to where you don't really feel like you need to hear another voice, or another voice would be beneficial. I really like this first disc, and you'll actually kind of see, I think that kind of became a little bit of an issue in the second one. Not because of him needing other voices, but because I don't really like half the features on there. But I'll get to that in a second, though. I do think if you listen to this album from start to finish, it is... Sorry if you can hear me clicking, by the way. I'm going through the Spotify tabs. But it is a little repetitive. I have this problem with both discs. It's not just disc 1 or just disc 2. There is a bit of repetitiveness. I don't think it's necessarily that another voice or like a feature would have benefited it. I think it's more of just the type of music it is. It's just a little repetitive, but I do like the vibes of it. It feels warm. It was. I'm pretty sure it dropped during like last summer, so I am pretty late on that. Jesus, or no, this one was like last fall. Solace dropped in the fall. Vices dropped closer to the end of summer. Anyway, I do like Disc 1 a lot. I like Solace pretty good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I know I might have sounded mostly negative, but this is all very strong. A lot of the negatives I'm giving y'all are more so little nitpicks that I have that over the course of the album might pop up. But like, this is a pretty good, sweet little Bryson Tiller project. It's like a care package, if that makes sense. I think both the discs are. I think I kind of view them more as that because they don't necessarily feel like, not that they don't feel like a full fleshed out idea, but it does feel more like a mixtape, if anything else, of just like, hey, here's some good R&B songs I made. Here you go. Here they are. Because, I mean, I listen to a lot of these quite a bit. I listen to Autumn Drive still. I listen to Damn still. I listen to The Sick Interlude. Star Signs, even, is another pretty good one on here. Like, it's the longest one. So, and it kind of feels like it had, like, the most, like, writing effort put into it. But it is still a good song. Like, I like this one pretty good. But let's get into the, what is it called? The Vices. The Vices is the more rap-focused section of this album. And to be honest, I do think it has a lot of the same problems as the first one. Again, they're not real problems. They're more so nitpicks, but they are still there. I'm going to start off with ones I like. I love Money Shower Interlude. It might be my third favorite interlude by Bryson, besides just another interlude and open interlude. Bryson, honestly, his interlude bag is awesome. But Last Call is another pretty good one. Excuse me, I had a little burp. Oh God. On My Way is also a pretty good start. So is First Place. The features are actually where I have the most amount of problems because he got, like, a few of these guys are Detroit guys. I think Baby Drill's from Detroit. Is Lil Tyler from Detroit? I could be really, like, wrong. Wait, no, Lil Tyler's from Florida, is he not? I'm looking this up as we speak, guys. I'm sorry. He is from Florida, so I was like completely tripping about him. These all being Detroit artists. Yeah, T-Pain's not from Detroit. Neither's Plies, I don't think. I know Rick Ross isn't, unless I'm stupid. Anyway, the features are where a lot of my issues with this lie. I don't dislike Rick Ross, but I don't think he really brings anything. I don't really like Boss Man D-Lo on Cut Ties. T-Pain is good on 200 Bands, but I don't like Plies. Baby Drill is fine. And I might be one of Lil Tyler's biggest haters out. I mean, I ain't even gonna lie about it. I don't like anything Lil Tyler's ever made. And I don't like Bun B either. Actually, Bun B's fine. He's fine on the song that he's on. But the actual, like, it's a lot of these guys, it's not necessarily that I don't like them, it's that they don't bring anything. And I would almost rather have another Bryson verse or Bryson do what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But again, Bryson is not necessarily the best rapper in the world. He's not the most lyrical. He's not really, he more so flows over beats very nice, and he has some good delivery and good lines. Like Whatever She Want is a good example of that. It's not necessarily like a great rapping performance, but it's like, it flows good, beats good. He's got good lines, good lyrics. Not because they're confusing or like bars. It's just like, it's good lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Good wordplay and stuff like that. A lot of that is on here, but none of it is going to blow you out of the park or nothing like that. It's very serviceable, but I do think a lot of, like, the solo tracks on here are very replayable. I love Last Call. Excuse me, again, holy balls. 200 Bands does have features, but it is a good song. Money Shower Interlude, like I said, is really good, and so are the first two tracks. It is more so where you get into these features, which don't really have that much, like, in the project, but they are still there. They are still pretty annoying, you know what I'm saying? And a couple of these songs I do think suffer from being too long because of the feature. Minnie Kelly, cut like 30 seconds off that, and I think it's really good. The Lil Tyler song is the longest song on this album, and it sucks. Not Bryson's part, really, but Lil Tyler, like, why is he rapping still? You know what I mean? That is the only song on both albums that I don't have in my likes, which, like, what? That's crazy. Anyway, I do like this project pretty good, and I definitely don't dislike it. That's not at all what I'm saying, but I do think it is slightly worse than than Solace. It still gets a little repetitive. It's not that different. It's still like, it does feel warm though. This one dropped kind of at the endish of summer, if I'm not mistaken. I might have the release dates completely wrong. I don't think I do, but like I can't really tell on Spotify because it just says 2025. I'm pretty sure the Vices dropped in summer 2025 and Solace was like fall/winter. The Vices feels very warm. I remember listening to the Money Shower interlude in summer, if I'm not mistaken, and actually really enjoying it. It's a very good summer song. A lot of these are. Honestly, like some of the replayability might go away just because we're not like. Actually, it's kind of coming back because we are in summer. I re-listened to Last Call like literally just today, and I really liked it. But anyway, I give this a 7 out of 10 probably. Solace gets a 8 out of 10, and the Vices gets a 7 out of 10, which is actually opposite of how I had my notes. Fun fact. I do think both of these outings are good outings from Bryson Tiller. If you listen to both discs start to finish, 24 songs, it probably does feel a little bloated. It's not even an hour, though, really, so like I think only a few of these songs are over 3 minutes, and if they are, besides the song with Lil Tyler, they're like barely over the 3 minute mark. I do think doing a double album like this is really cool. Having two completely different vibes, two discs, dropping them at different times. I think that's cool. Do I think you don't have to put them as a double album. I know what he was doing. You make a little more money if you drop a whole album on top of another album because then it kind of combines the things. Actually, I don't even know if he got to do that because he added it to the project, if that makes sense. I have 102 songs by Bryson Tiller on my like songs. Holy balls. Anyway, I'm a big Bryson fan if you can't tell. Go listen to this album if you haven't, by the way. I know I missed a few days for work, but as I'm currently working right now, I'm about to light up a stream, and then before I go to bed, I'm recording 3 or 4 more videos. That way, I do not get behind on work again. It was literally just work. I'd get home really late, before I would just automatically miss a day, and I'd be so dead dog tired, I just went straight to sleep. But if you want to get more reviews, subscribe, like, comment, join the Discord server to get notified whenever you get it, or you can just hit the bell right next to the subscribe button. Either one works. Love you guys.